Well, this issue definitely doesn't seem to be getting old anytime soon. This, as of course, the major representatives and spokespersons are up in arms because of different political ideas that are being discussed without their permission. As of course, Josh Hammer and Mark Levin are having a very unhappy holiday season as they are going off against everyone, as Josh Hammer has been saying some very extreme things, as he, in the latest Newsweek YouTube video that has garnered 272 views in 6 hours, has come out against the latest allegations against Tucker Carlson, which, along his friend Mark Levin, are on a full-on frontal assault against, as there have been many cancellation efforts against Tucker Carlson. There have been many efforts to try to destroy his livelihood, his reputation, and his ability to be able to speak to us clearly, and it's backfiring, as I would officially say, that the neocon establishment right has lost. I want to go over some of these latest absurd type of crazy arguments, because just like I want to deconstruct every kind of big idea out there, it's also worth noting to destroy some of the bad ideas out there with good ideas, and we're going to be countering that from a logical, non-emotional point of view. If you appreciate these types of conversations, subscribe, click the notification button. We're doing extremely well on this brand new YouTube channel that you guys are a part of, and we can't thank you enough. It's soon going to outperform our main channel. Our main channel, 900,000 subscribers. This channel, what is it, 5,000, 6,000 subscribers? We're kicking butt. And I sincerely wanted to thank you for that, because it wouldn't be possible without you from the bottom of my heart. As, of course, I also wanted to say Happy New Year! As you're probably watching this, entering into 2026, as it's been one hell of a ride. And it's only going to get crazier from here, as a lot of people are saying, yeah, the same problems are going to just continue on, just with a different calendar date here. As some people are saying, this is an opportunity for a new beginning. And I think so as well. I think the conversation has shifted. I think we are seeing just the last death screams of the establishment neoconservative right. Now, will that mean policy changes and shifts? I think so. And I'm predicting a big shift in Donald Trump's policies in beginning of middle of next year. That's just my assessment. I'm wrong sometimes. So we'll see what happens here. As of course, right now, Donald Trump has opened up to the possibility of bombing Iran again. He has threatened them again. Now, Bibi Netanyahu is connecting Venezuela to Iran, as of course we just started a military action in Venezuela, not just destroying their boats in the ocean, but now going after land targets that were just targeted a few hours ago. And here's Bibi saying, yeah, Venezuela, that's pretty much Iran.
Venezuela, they're in cahoots with the Maduro regime, you know, they're exporting terrorism.
As he's like, Trump, wink, wink, hey. You're bombing Venezuela. You could bomb Iran too. Look, they're connected. Look. You do it. You did one. You could do it again. Do it for us.
To America, to the American hemisphere. And then they want these Hezbollah and Hamas to get their guys into the United States. So Hamas and Iran's and its proxies are a threat not only to us, but to Israel, all America's allies in the Middle East, and to...
Yeah, they're the threat. As, of course, a lot of people are saying, well, can we have more of a serious discussion about this, please, before we spend more of our resources and time here? As of course everyone is pretty toxic online right now, as a lot of people are making a lot of very vast generalizations, as the attacks are pretty severe. Tim Pool today said Gramps is off his meds again, as Mark Levin is going after Megyn Kelly, Jack Posobiec, how dare you hold a rosary bead? How dare you, Megyn Kelly, talk about Halloween and blackface 8 years ago? That's what he's going after now. Tucker Carlson, how dare you open discussions and debates about ideas and platforming and interviewing people that I don't agree with? How dare you conduct journalism? As of course a lot of journalism now is activism, but Megyn Kelly came out. Yeah, Mark Levin's spiraling out of control. Another person spiraling out of control, I would say, is Josh Hammer, according to my own personal opinion, as he has called for Tucker Carlson to be, quote, neutralized. Yeah, this was back in October. He recently, just a few days ago, called for Candace Owens to be involuntarily committed to a mental asylum. As of course, if you don't believe what I believe in, I want to get rid of you one way or another. Interesting parallels between Chappelle, Kanye West, and a lot of other celebrities that were involuntarily institutionalized when, of course, they got, quote, out of line there as well. Lots to discuss there with conspiracies down the rabbit hole, but we're going to save that conversation for another time, and we had that conversation on previous videos. But this is what Josh Hammer is on about today, just a couple hours ago.
There's actually some screws loose there, which is possible, frankly. I mean, if you look at Tucker's antics with
it screws loose. He's doing antics. He's crazy. We have to put him away so he can't speak to us immediately. How very convenient that the only person countering a lot of your absurd notions and ideas that can't stand scrutiny, what better way than to just attack the person? And again, listen, Tucker attacks people too, let's just be honest with ourselves, but he goes after their ideas too. And that was the biggest difference at TPUSA. Ben Shapiro attacked personalities, Tucker Carlson dissected the ideas and talked about how ridiculous they are, while also kind of hinting at who he was talking about. Obviously, he was talking about Ben Shapiro, and this type of civil war is kind of ending, as many people have already declared, well, the America First crowd won in the court of public opinion. Now, how will Trump act? That's a whole totally different kind of conversation. We're going to be playing the rest of this clip as well as telling you about what we think is going to be happening in 2026. Before we do, really quickly, check out wearechange.shop. I curated a shop that has a lot of great supplements, a lot of great substances like creatine, like CBD, like green tea. Yes, we have organic lemon ginger green tea available to you. I was just scrolling online and a Brandon Liu, not associated with us, not paying him. I don't even follow him. They just showed up on me saying, look, this is how you prevent infection and being sick. And this is something that I've been thinking about because I was traveling and I implemented a similar program and I was around a lot of sick people recently, especially at TPUSA. Everyone's like, shake my hand now. And I'm like, hey, whatever. And I'm like, oh, golly, goodness gracious. And I'm like, what is my protocol from my knowledge from investigating and looking into supplementation and health and wellness? How do I beat this stuff? And there's a couple things. And this Brandon Liu guy did what I wanted to do. I was on a plane. I was like, I should do a whole thread about how not to get sick. The number one thing he recommends is green tea gargling, saying it is the most effective as it has shown to lower infection rate by 26%, influenza infection by 31%, acute upper respiratory infection by 22%. Now, green tea has some, of course, medical benefits to it, but also some people say it's because of that hot water that destroys a lot of the viruses and illnesses. That's why some people do sauna when they think they're getting sick, because that huge heat. That's why your body gets a fever in order to destroy the sickness and illnesses inside of your body. So if you're able to take green tea and gargle it, get the microplastic free green tea. We made sure our tea, all the tea bags have microplastics in it. All the cans have microplastic in it. Try to avoid them. Sometimes I just can't. They're not perfect. I do sauna. Sauna has been shown to get rid of microplastics in the boys, if you know what I mean. But listen, if you're going to do this stuff, wearechange.shop. Check it out. Get the best, cleanest, purest green tea out there that's organic on wearechange.shop, as well as supplementing with things like vitamin D, which are crucial to your immune system, and vitamin C. Liposol vitamin C, you got to take it with fat. Vitamin D, take it early in the morning. Magnesium also helps your body work very well as well. We have the Magnesium Sun Force bundle, the vitamin C bundle, and the green tea there. I think we should do a special I don't want to get sick bundle, as of course there's a very big sickness spreading in New York City where people are being just absolutely obliterated. Some people are saying it's a flu, whatever it is. But hey, he also talks about, hey, saline works too. Green tea works pretty well. Saline nose rinses work as well. And I've used that and implemented that myself. I got a big snozzle. Had it broken a couple times. And Listen, it's also good to clean out the sinuses. As nasal sprays also work really great as well here. Washing, cleaning yourself, washing your hands, cleaning inside of your nose, gargling hot water, saline water, or green tea work really great. I'm going to retweet this. Follow me at Luke We Are Change on Twitter, because a lot of people are getting sick. I don't want you getting sick. I want you to getting healthy. I was in a sauna last night. I'm going to do a sauna tonight. So, listen, take care of yourself. WeAreChange.shop. Begin your independent health journey there. You don't have to get plagued by illnesses and sicknesses. Prevent it at all costs. Be happy and healthy. WeAreChange.shop is leading the way to trying to help you facilitate that. Now, you know what also is really bad for you? A lot of hate, negativity, and stress, as it looks like Mark Levin, Josh Hammer, Ben Shapiro going through a lot of it. They're losing a lot of subscribers, not getting a lot of viewership. 19 upvotes, really? And in his diatribe here for 49 minutes, I listened to some of it, and I'm like, my goodness, this guy just sounds like a broken record, repeating the same old talking points over and over again, and those talking points are just ridiculous. He's trying to emotionally shame and to finger wag people for allegedly having tropes. What are you talking about, tropes? Give me exactly what he said and did, and then make an argument. Like, I heard somewhere down the line a couple of years ago, he maybe has something that was borderline controversial, and it's racist. He's racist. He's bad. That really worked well for the left internet.
Way that he kind of just comports himself there, it's very different than the very polished professional Tucker Carlson that was on cable news for many years. So maybe something happening that we're not aware of. He did say a year and a half ago that he fought with demons, and he woke up in bed one morning with demon scratches. So, I mean, maybe I'm not saying there's demons, but
you don't have demon fights in the middle of the night, Varash?
Not to my knowledge, but I'm open to the possibility. I think the best guess as to what is happening here is twofold. One, I have unfortunately arrived at the conclusion that Tucker Carlson genuinely is an old school 1950s country club style anti-Semite. And
Oh, that's ridiculous. All right. Do you have any proof of that? Do you have any kind of examples of what he did? He actually calls out people who just hate the Jays, right? Where in the world you have this notion? And again, it's a theory. You're a conspiracy theorist right now.
I talked with other conservatives who have known him for 20 years, and numerous of them actually have some anecdotes of him kind of.
Oh, anecdotes. There's tropes and anecdotes. 20 years. You know, I talked to some people behind the scenes. Oh yeah, he's the 1950s guy who hates the Jays. What are you talking about? There's no evidence or proof of that at all. Quite the contrary.
Slipping in moments of Freudian candor back in the day and kind of letting this cat out of the bag. I won't bore you with the details, but I've heard similar stories of this from 20.
I've heard rumors. Like, you're acting like a schoolgirl. You're acting like, oh, he said this. You're playing a game of telephone from 20 years ago. How ridiculous are you? How pathetic that is your strongest argument against someone. You don't have, he did this. Here's an example. You have 20 years ago, there's a trope. There's an anecdote 20 years ago. Let me write it in my high school journal. Pathetic. Weasel-like behavior.
20 years ago. And sure enough, if you actually look on his Fox News show, it's really the one topic that never came up, right? Jews, Israel, anything like that there. And he actually ends up platforming a lot of folks.
He platformed people. He interviewed people I didn't like. Yeah, that's what journalism is. That's what the corporate media does. The corporate media sits down with, like, Bin Laden. The corporate media sits down with Saddam Hussein. And do you accuse the corporate media of being Saddam Hussein? No, you don't. All right? It's ridiculous.
With a very troubling record on these matters. So Jackson Hinkle, for instance, this absolute nutjob, this psychopath who has millions of followers, some young punk little kid who talks about, sign me up to fight for Hezbollah, sign me up to go to Tehran to fight for the Ayatollah. I mean, he got his first cable news platform on Tucker Carlson's show.
He got platformed, oh! And again, I interviewed Jackson Hinkle. I disagreed with his idea. So did Tucker Carlson. Jackson Hinkle is a communist. But he's willing to debate and have conversations with the right, unlike many other people from the left. He's one of the few people on the far, far, far left that says, these are my ideas. I disagree with his ideas. They are absolutely 110% against what I believe, who I stand for. Now, when I have a conversation with Jackson Hinkle, it's like, okay, let's debate the ideas. I'm not going to be like, 20 years ago, there's a trope. 20 years ago, there's an anecdote here in my high school cheerleader diary. What? I'm not going to do that. And when Jackson Hinkle was here, we debated ideas. Tucker Carlson did as well. For you to say, no, just because you platform him, you stand by what he does. That's ridiculous. Stop it. That's pathetic. That's an old argument that doesn't work anymore.
I remember this, yeah.
Similarly, Max Blumenthal, who's long a darling of the very, very far left, but he's a profoundly kind of anti-Israel, anti-American, anti-Western guy. He also got his first Fox News platform on Tucker Carlson's show. So the tea leaves were kind of there. And I think that post Fox News, he's felt really emboldened to kind of let the mask drop and just say it as he really feels deep down.
He calls out hatred against all people based on their race, right? It makes no sense at all. And then Mark Levin continues on with the same type of talking points. They're calling Tucker Carlson a German from the 1930s, which is ridiculous. Right, and they keep going on and on and on. It was just pure hatred, pure lies, pure inflammatory type of attacks. Tucker Carlson answered back against a lot of the insanity and a lot of the attacks against him today.
We just pretend that this is not happening, but it is happening. And boy, do you see it on foreign policy. It's the only issue they care about. You really think that Mark Levin cares how many Somalis are in Minnesota? No, not at all.
Quite the contrary. He made the argument saying, hey, white people becoming a minority is great. Nick, who used to listen to Mark Levin all the time, talked about that specifically, saying, yeah, I used to listen to Mark Levin all the time. I thought he was great. I really liked him. Macon Kelly, too. Macon Kelly was like, I really liked listening to Mark Levin. Now he's foaming at the mouth, attacking all of them. But Nick was like, I got radicalized because Mark Levin told us that the white population is going to be a minority. And he said that's a good thing. Right.
The more the better. All he cares about is the projection of force, using American service personnel to fight faraway wars that have no material benefit, in fact, have massive downside for the United States. That's his whole orientation.
And listen, when you look at that argument, especially when you look at American foreign policy under the neoconservatives, and when we look at the Iraq War, when we look at the Syrian War, the Libyan War, the Afghanistan War, how did it help us? It didn't. It created a huge amount of resources, money, a loss of civil liberties. We bombed places, spent an exorbitant amount of money on it, and then we rebuilt it, and then we don't have anything to show for it except for more radicalized sectarian violence and radicalized terrorists out there that are committing mass horrors against Western civilization.
Well, Levin's the funniest because...
And then you have this kind of perpetual type of problem, reaction, solution dialectic that the Iraq War created a problem out of, that we need to perpetually respond to now, and we need to fight. Radical jihadism in Islam that was, of course, emboldened, armed, and given almost everything they needed to be where they are right now is a major threat. Right. And there's no denying that. And I think, this is where a lot of us would kind of agree, like, hey, there's elements of radical Islam that deserve to be addressed and talked about in an honest and earnest way. Now, some people want to make that their only problem. I'm saying, we wouldn't have these type of radicalized issues and problems if we weren't involved, if we weren't bombing them, if we weren't creating vacuums of power, if we weren't creating what happened when Saddam Hussein left power, where literally it helped and emboldened Iran. Iran is as powerful as they are, and even more powerful now, because Iraq, that used to challenge it, was taken out by the United States. Why did we do that? Made no sense at all. Unless you're looking for this problem, reaction, solution dialectic that, of course, was incentivized here to create this perpetual problem for having forever terrorism, that now you have a blank check to get rid of our civil liberties and take our money for it in order to fight. And then you, of course, have a divide and conquer agenda. And then you have an agenda where it's like, okay, now we're just fighting each other based off our religion, which is kind of stupid.
Well, Levin's the funniest because he's terrible on TV. And again, I never had any problems with him at Fox. He kind of controls Hannity in this weird way. I never understood what that was about. I never really cared to learn. Sean was great to me, always nice. And so was Levin. So I just kind of stayed away. But they didn't want to put him on TV because he's like screechy and he's just not a calming presence. Michael Levin on TV! Like, oh my, unless you're literally floating in and out of consciousness and the attendant has taken the remote to go have a cigarette, you're going to flip the channel when Michael Levin gets on TV. It's like listening to your ex-wife scream about alimony payments. It's like not appealing. So they wouldn't put him on TV. And then, Sean pushed and they gave him some kind of weekend show that nobody watched. Now I don't have a TV, but someone was just who owns a TV was just telling me that he's like all over prime time. So what is that? That's not by popular acclaim. That's not like their viewer surveys. Like, we need a lot more Mark Levin.
Yeah, as of course, there's something else going on here since, of course, Tucker had the #1 news show in the world, and then he got fired. His subscribers going up 50,000. Ben Shapiro lost 30,000 subscribers. Mark Levin is like a little Ben Shapiro light. You're telling me his numbers are going up? No way. Ben Shapiro's numbers are tanking drastically. Josh Hammer, 272 views in 6 hours. Tell me, yeah, right.
That's Jesse Waters, more Mark Levin. Mark Levin! What they're doing is what they always do, which is just turning up the propaganda hose to full blast and just trying to, knock elderly Fox viewers off their feet and make them submit to a new
Yeah, and it's not working. As those elderly viewers are going away, people are no longer subscribing. They're unsubscribing. 30,000 people unsubbed from Ben Shapiro. 50,000 people subscribed to Tucker Carlson in the same time. Yeah. I recommend the Neocon, right? Check out wearechange.shop. I think they're sick. They need to get healthy. They need to get better. And I hope and pray for their understanding and well-being, just like you should for everybody else, right? And I say that in a non-sarcastic way. I say that in a real way because, listen, I think a lot of these people are mentally unhealthy. I think the conversation is becoming more toxic. I think it needs to end. I think we need more laughter. We need more ridicule. We need to not take a lot of these people seriously because they're taking themselves way too seriously, according to my own personal opinion. And if you agree, share this video. I'm going to be here for you guys watching, subscribing, staying tuned here to this independent media broadcast. Happy New Year. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/LukaDowski76.